know exactly why. Expound on that.
Because why would he even want to?
Lopez, Gervonta Davis, are you ready to go through these fights?
Winner versus winner, they make this, and if you watch box, like how many years we're waiting, like Pacquiao versus Mayweather, how many years we're waiting Wilder.
Gervonta Tank Davis didn't hold back after watching recent training footage of Manny Pacquiao. The 46-year-old legend's return to the ring left Davis visibly stunned and concerned. To Davis, Pacquiao's comeback seems not just ambitious, but dangerous. In a sport where youth, speed, and power rule the day, Davis made it clear, today's fighters won't show mercy to an aging icon.
He got it.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yes. For sure. For sure.
When talk turns to a potential showdown with Manny Pacquiao, Gervonta Davis speaks with unwavering confidence. He doesn't disrespect the legend, but he doesn't fear him either. Davis, one of the most explosive lightweights of this generation, believes the gap between eras is wide. For him, a fight with a 46-year-old Pacquiao isn't just another challenge, it's a generational statement. And Davis is ready to stamp his era with dominance.
Saying hell, I think fighting somebody like Pacquiao is giving me hope for sure. It doesn't matter who I fight. It doesn't matter. As long as I put on a great performance whoever I fight, it doesn't matter. I don't believe that.
In a recent interview following the announcement of his comeback fight against Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao addressed future matchups with careful diplomacy. When asked about opponents like Ryan Garcia, he didn't commit, but he didn't shut the door either. That subtle openness sparked speculation. Is Pacquiao eyeing a multi-fight return? His demeanor suggests this isn't just a farewell. It could be a full-blown second act.
Manny, when you beat Barrios, what's next? Are you going to fight Ryan Garcia, Haney, Lopez, Gervonta Davis? Are you ready to go through these fights?
One at a time.
But you want those guys?
We'll see.
You feel good?
We'll see. I always, I cannot say after this, like I'm going to fight like that, but one at a time. After the fight, we can see, we can talk.
At an age when most legends have long since hung up their gloves, Manny Pacquiao remains defiant. In every interview, his message is the same. He's not afraid of a fight. And he's not done yet.
Any possibility that you would go back in the ring and fight someone like a Tank Davis?
If you want, then if you come up to 147, then we can fight.
He can't meet you at 140?
145 maybe. Not a problem for me, because I'm an experienced fighter.
Before officially announcing his comeback, Manny Pacquiao dropped 3 names: Conor McGregor, Ryan Garcia, and Gervonta Davis. Each name signals more than just a competitive itch. They represent blockbuster potential. Pacquiao isn't just chasing greatness. He's aiming for pay-per-view history.
So I'm not sure how true this is, but supposedly Manny Pacquiao's coming out of retirement. And these are the 3 names that he's interested in fighting. And now of these 3 names, which one do you think is the best matchup? Conor McGregor, that would just be a money grab. Everyone knows Manny Pacquiao's skill level is way above Conor's. Tank Davis? Nah, Manny Pacquiao would get knocked out by Tank Davis. I'm telling you right now, Tank would catch him, and Manny's going night-night. Now, Ryan Garcia is the fight that makes the most sense in my opinion. If you guys remember, this fight was heavily rumored at one time. And I think it might even been booked at one time, but it fell through at the last minute. And it makes the most sense to happen. Ryan Garcia is the big name currently in boxing. Style-wise, they match up perfectly. And it's a fight that could go either way. If Ryan Garcia wins, he adds a big name like Manny Pacquiao on his resume. And I know he's coming out of retirement, but still, that's Manny Pacquiao. And if Manny Pacquiao wins, he adds to his legacy and inserts himself right back in the title run. So again, these are just rumors, and I don't know if Manny Pacquiao's really out of retirement. But if he is, the fight that makes the most sense is Ryan.
Behind the scenes, a potential clash between Davis and Pacquiao is no longer just fantasy. Industry insiders say both camps are open to talks, if Pacquiao proves he still has it against Barrios. For Davis, the appeal is clear. Defeating a living legend would only amplify his legacy. For Pacquiao, It's a chance to test himself against the new guard.
Basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios fight off of 3 years off and a loss to Ugas.
That's Crimea River, man. That's what boxing is. But longer deserve a Canelo fight.
I'm just gonna rub it in. Pause. I remember saying when Tank couldn't get a fight in, I was saying Shakur shouldn't have signed that deal with Matchroom if he wanted to fight Tank. Lomachenko, I said he ducked. But then when he couldn't find a fight, I said, hey, fight Manny Pacquiao. The reason why I said fight Manny Pacquiao at 144 was, number one, you can get the sensationalism and the crazy hype shit of a Jake Paul fight, right? He got the money grab on him. On top of that, though, he can prepare for 140 by fighting Manny at 144, get a training camp in at your weight class. Then he could come down from 144 and fight Tio at 140. Everybody said that don't make sense, Biz. Tank fight Lamont Roach, take a knee, draw, grease in the eye.
MMA icon Khabib Nurmagomedov recently took aim at the direction of modern boxing, and he didn't pull punches. In a scathing critique, Khabib condemned the sport's growing obsession with spectacle over substance. Using Pacquiao versus Barrios as a prime example, he argued that the matchmaking prioritizes name recognition and financial gain over safety, integrity, and competitive merit. For Khabib, boxing's soul is slipping into showbiz.
Winner versus winner, they make this, and if you watch box, like how many years we're waiting, like Pacquiao versus Mayweather, how many years we're waiting, Wilder versus Tyson Fury, they have like 100-0, 100-0, like people beg, hey, please make this fight, and it's like...
Oscar de la Hoya knows the cost of climbing back into the ring, and he's sounding the alarm. The boxing legend and promoter voiced serious concern over Manny Pacquiao's decision to return at 46. In de la Hoya's eyes, preparing for an elite-level fight at that age isn't just tough, it's dangerous. Recovery is slower. Injuries linger. And for Pacquiao, de la Hoya believes, rest should be the prescription, not another war camp.
46 years old. You have to remember that. So give your body some rest. Rest right now is Manny Pacquiao's friend in between training, in between sparring sessions. There's no shame in taking a day off or two, Manny. Trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced. He's got obviously the power because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, the youth is obviously with him in his corner.
Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez, one of boxing's brightest young stars, didn't sugarcoat his assessment of the upcoming Pacquiao-Barrios showdown. While he honored Pacquiao's legendary career, Rodriguez predicted a one-sided affair in Barrios' favor. In his view, age and hunger don't mix well in the ring. Youth brings a fire that even the most decorated veteran may not be able to contain.
I think Mario is going to go out there and just put a beating on Manny. I think Manny's a little too old, but he's a legend. He already did what he did, so I really don't see a reason for him to come back. But if he wants to get in the ring with Mario, then I guess Mario has to show him that he has a youth, and Manny Pacquiao should have just stayed retired.
Yeah. That's what a lot of fans are saying, and are still kind of disbelief. But even looking at social media and the fans, they're thrilled just to see him back. So just to have him in the ring, and fighters at that age are not competing.
I think that just says a lot about the type of fighter Manny Pacquiao is, the stardom he has. He's 46, 47?
He's 46.
And people are still excited to see him fight. So, that just says a lot about him and what he's done in his career. So, like I said earlier, to see a friend I grew up with fight Manny Pacquiao is going to be pretty cool. And it's the same night. So, it's a huge night for San Antonio boxing.
At just 28 years old, Mario Barrios enters the ring with more than just youth on his side. His height, reach, and recent activity give him key advantages against the aging Pacquiao. With sharper reflexes and fresher legs, Barrios is expected to control the pace, keep Pacquiao at distance, and capitalize on any opening the veteran leaves behind.
Breaking news, Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios is official for July 19th in Las Vegas for Barrios' WBC welterweight title. After 4 years off from pro boxing, Pacquiao will try to become the oldest active world champion in boxing at 46 years old and one of the oldest champions in boxing history. Now, this fight has been rumored for quite a while. They tried to make it last year after Pacquiao had an exhibition with Rukia Anpo, but they were never able to finalize a deal. But earlier this year, they re-entered negotiations, and they finally made it official now. Now, in terms of the fight itself, Barrios, he's going to have a huge age and size advantage. You know, the guy is 29 years old, right in his physical prime. He's probably going to weigh around 160, 165 pounds on the night of the fight. Whereas Pacquiao, like I said, he's 46 years old. He won't weigh over 145 pounds on the night of the fight. And Barrios, he's just going to try to stay behind the jab and the straight shots and use that youth to win in the fight. Now, what I will give Pacquiao is he does have a huge IQ advantage. And Barrios' defense didn't look that great in his last fight. But still, the age is the main factor. But you guys let me know. Are you excited for Manny's return, or is it too risky at his age?
Trainer Robert Garcia respects Manny Pacquiao's legacy, but he's also realistic. Time, he says, is undefeated. Even with consistent training during retirement, the reflexes dull, the endurance fades, and recovery slows. Like many fans, Garcia fears that Pacquiao's return may cost more than it's worth, physically and reputationally.
Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, getting another title opportunity, I just the name obviously, but I really believe that Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little. I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for. I'm just 4 years older, 4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're gonna get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in your 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. He should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it, but I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that? There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Come on, at that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been off, that'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, right? It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
Pacquiao, he's probably top 5 all time, one of the greatest fighters.
Experts across the boxing world are voicing a common concern. At 46, and after a 5-year absence, Pacquiao's return might be more dangerous than inspiring. Boxing is unforgiving, even to legends. History has shown that comebacks at this stage often end in permanent damage. That looming risk casts a long shadow over the fight with Barrios.
Because what's the worst case scenario? Someone gets seriously hurt. Someone has like life-altering injuries, and that can happen in boxing. We've seen this. Manny Pacquiao isn't immune to this. He's been knocked out. He's been hit. He's not Floyd, who has been hardly hit. Like, he's been knocked out cold. I thought when he got knocked out by Marquez, I thought he died. It was that scary. Yeah. Remember that one? So
I do.
Ultimately, I'm most surprised that if it hasn't been officially announced, if it lands in Nevada or California, I'll be very surprised and dare I say,
no one questions Manny Pacquiao's legacy, but his decision to return has sparked heated debate. Many believe he has nothing left to prove, and fear that one bad night could tarnish a career built on greatness. For some, it's not just a comeback. It's a gamble that puts both his health and legacy on the line.
Since, being a world champion means you are the best in the world. You are the champion of this world at your weight class. We all know right now, at least to me, it's common knowledge that that's Jerome Boots Ennis. At 147, he is the best in the world. But he doesn't hold all 4 belts, so he is only one of the 2 or 3, I guess now, world champions. Doesn't make sense to me, and especially when now you're the WBC and you're like, yeah, let's bring in Manny Pacquiao to potentially win a world championship. And let's say he pulls it off by some miracle. Are we going to put Manny Pacquiao in there with Boots Ennis? Is that what we're going to do? I hope not. And again, this is not me trying to be a hater. It's just, I don't want to see Manny get hurt. And Barrios, not the biggest puncher in the world, but he can hurt it badly. He is a volume puncher, and he will be in there against a guy that, again, isn't a natural 147. Even if he finished his career at 147, that's not where Manny was his best self. And he's definitely going to be at a massive size disadvantage here. Height, reach, everything. Again, when Manny was in his prime, or, honestly, when he was still in his late 30s and early 40s before he retired, he could have handled that. His speed was still there. The consistency was still there. He wasn't running for political office and doing all this other stuff and taking time off. We see this time and time again. When a boxer retires, takes a long time off, and then comes back, it usually, again, outside of George Foreman, rest in peace to the GOAT, it usually doesn't go well. And I don't think this is going to either. And it's clear to me that this is done for, a staging of an event versus the actual competitive nature of the fight. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and that Manny still has it, but I'm just going to go with what makes the most sense. The WBC and whoever they partner with on this is going to try to sell tickets off of it. Okay, that's fine. But what's the point of the belt if this is the match? What are you saying?
Not all criticism is aimed at Pacquiao. Some voices in the boxing world are questioning Mario Barrios' motives. Facing a fighter 2 decades his senior, critics argue, may be more about easy clout than true competition. Instead of rising through the ranks the hard way, Barrios risks appearing opportunistic, taking on a legend far past his prime.
Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao are in talks for the WBC welterweight title fight. They want to do it in Vegas. Pacquiao is 45 and hasn't competed since August 2021 in a decision loss. Mario Barrios is definitely trying to stat pad at this point. In a stacked welterweight division, you can fight Crawford. If you don't want to fight someone who's coming off a W, fight Spence Jr. Go fight Jaron or Stanius, Fight one of the top 4 fighters. You're ranked top 5 and you want to fight Manny Pacquiao. That's stat padding. That shouldn't even count as a win. And I love Manny Pacquiao, but, in his prime, he would definitely beat Mario Barrios, but it's past his prime. Hasn't fought in 3 years, is 45 years old. It's time to hang it up, bud. I will say, though, if he somehow miracle pulls it off, it'll be the greatest win, I think, in my opinion.
With fight night fast approaching, the conversation is shifting from excitement to concern. The possibility of a brutal knockout or long-term injury looms large. Some analysts argue the fight should have never been sanctioned, urging commissions to rethink the rules around aging fighters returning to elite competition.
So Manny Pacquiao's going to get knocked out by Mario Barrios. And I get it, Mario Barrios is far from a good fighter. Mario Barrios is one of the worst champions in all of boxing, but Manny Pacquiao is so old, bro. I think a lot of you guys forget Manny Pacquiao fought last year and he arguably lost to a Muay Thai kickboxer dude. This dude wasn't even a boxer. Yes, he was really big, but the dude was just not a boxer. Honestly, I think the WBC should call this fight off. I think it's not too late to kind of go back on your word and let's call this one off. This fight should not be sanctioned by anybody. This fight should not be allowed. At least Mario Barrios should be stripped of his WBC title for defending it against a 46-year-old. Is there a slim chance Manny Pacquiao is able to outmaneuver him and maybe outpoint him, punch, around him? Yeah, maybe. But realistically, it won't happen. But if he does, I think it will solidify him as the greatest boxer of all time, no questions about it. I think if he does win this fight, it would put him clearly over Ali, Ray Robinson, Ray Leonard, and Floyd Mayweather. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on how y'all feel about this.
Intro 16. To boxing purists, this comeback is crossing a dangerous line. Unlike spectacle bouts clearly marked as exhibitions, like Tyson or the Paul brothers, Pacquiao's return is being packaged as a serious title chase. The WBC has fully endorsed the bout, sanctioning it for the welterweight belt. That decision has split the boxing community, but for fans, the stakes couldn't be higher. Pacquiao versus Barrios is more than just a fight. It's a swan song for a global icon. Scheduled for Saturday, August 3, 2025, the card promises an unforgettable night, loaded with explosive co-mains and rising stars. It's a collision of nostalgia, legacy, and raw competition, making it one of the most anticipated events of the year.